Hi guys, and welcome to a new reading vlog. It is Tuesday, May 25th, so there is 1 week left in the month of May, so I thought I would vlog this week and just bring you along for everything that's happening this week, which honestly is not a whole lot. So that's exciting. So I have 4 books that I am determined to finish this month. They have been on my currently reading stack for far too long. They keep getting pushed to the side when I pick up other things. So I'm determined to not pick up any other books, but to just focus on finishing out these 4 books in the next week. Well, at least 3 of them. So I thought I would bring you along for this challenge, I guess. So currently reading Light of the Jedi by Charles Soule. This I've just been reading since the very beginning of May. It's a Star Wars novel. I'm over halfway through. I would say this is probably my #1 priority to finish. It's fine so far. It's a little slow, so I don't feel overly inspired to pick it up. But like I said, I'm over halfway through. I want to finish it. I've never read a Star Wars book before. I don't know that I'm going to read a whole lot more of them, but I do want to finish this. I want to try these types of things. So anyway, I started this way back at the beginning of May. I just need to finish it. It shouldn't take that long. I just need to do it. The other 3 books I have on my stack, I've actually been reading since March. And again, I just need to finish them. 2 of them I started for middle grade March. One is The Happy Prince and Other Stories by Oscar Wilde. This is short stories or fairy tales by Oscar Wilde. I think I've read the first 2 and have to do the rest. I really enjoyed them. I just don't tend to pick it up. So again, that shouldn't take too long to finish. Just need to do it. And then I have The Story of Mankind by Hendrik Willem van Loon. This is a nonfiction, middle grade nonfiction from the 30s, I believe. It was the very first Newbery winner, actually. And I need to finish it. I'm close. I'm within like 200 pages. This is like a 700-page book. I'm within a couple hundred pages at the end. I'm not loving it. There's a lot of speculation versus actual history in here. And but it's very readable. And again, I just need to finish it. I just need to make myself finish it. The last one I'm working on is Rhythm of War by Brandon Sanderson, which I'm loving, but I'm only about 400 pages in, which means I still have over 800 pages to go. So this is the one I'm not sure I'll actually be able to finish this week, but if I can make significant progress, if I can finish the other 3 and make significant progress on this one, I will be satisfied with that. If I can finish it, that'd be great, but I don't know how realistic that is. That's the 4th one. Again, I've been reading this one since March, but not consistently. Until like a week ago, I was only like less than 100 pages in. So we'll see. We'll see how we do. And those are my plans for this week. There's not a lot of extra stuff going on. Today I have to teach 2 piano lessons, and then I'm meeting a friend for lunch. And then I think I'm going to drop off some books at the used bookstore, which probably means I'll, do some book shopping while I'm there. But that's it. So I should have some good reading time today and the rest of the week. There's just not a whole lot of extras going on. That was a super long intro. And thanks for joining me for the week. now the end of the week. It's Memorial Day, and yeah, I'm really killing it at this vlogging thing. But I figured I would at least pop in and wrap up what I managed to get done this week and do better next time. So I did finish 3 of the books I was working on. Let's just get this out of the way. I did not finish Rhythm of War. I did make some progress. You can't see. I'm getting close to the halfway point, so I'm going to try and get this done like in the first half of June, hopefully. So I did make progress, and I'm very engaged in the story right now, so that's good. But then let's talk about the other 3 books, which I did finish. The first one I finished was Light of the Jedi by Charles Soule. This is a Star Wars novel, and it was really boring. Like, I don't know what else to say other than it was really boring. They introduced way too many characters. This is set in a much earlier era than the stories we're already familiar with, if you're familiar with Star Wars. So it was a completely new kind of environment, completely new characters, and they introduced so many characters, and there was nothing memorable about any of them. So it's just this massive characters that I don't know. I couldn't even tell you a single name of a character, I don't think, because it followed so many different ones, and it's very much a setup book, which I understand, but I don't even care to continue on with anything else. So yeah, it's boring. Wouldn't recommend. And then let's talk about, I have a bunch of notes here that I'm taking off the cover. Let's talk about The Story of Mankind by Hendrik Willem van Loon. Van Loon, there we go. This is a Newbery winner. This is actually the very first Newbery winner back in like 1927, 29, in the late 1920s. This is an updated edition. It's been updated as of, I don't know, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 2014. So, but this is a nonfiction history book, just kind of an overview of world history. I had mixed feelings about this book. There were some things I liked, some things I didn't, and I'm going to rant just a little bit about some of those things. First of all, it's very readable. I understand why it was praised when it first came out 100 years ago. It's kind of fun, and in general, I think it gives a pretty good overview of the Western world. I do want to specify that it's very Western world oriented, which is, again, not super surprising given the time period in which it came out. But the very beginning, like when they're dealing with ancient man, or early man, I should say, there was so much like just random storytelling, like it was so much speculation versus fact. And I don't know, it just felt silly. And so, like, here's an example. It's talking about the climate being too severe for most people, and the old and young died at a terrible rate. Then a genius bethought himself of the use of fire. Once while out hunting, he had been caught in forest fire. He remembered that he had almost been roasted to death by the flames. Thus far, fire had been an enemy. Now it became a friend. A dead tree was dragged into the cave and lighted by means of smoldering branches from a burning wood. This turned the cave into a cozy little room. Like, I get that he's telling a story, but I don't know. It just seems silly to me. And he goes on, and then one evening a dead chicken fell into the fire. It was not rescued until it had been well roasted. Man discovered that meat tasted better when cooked, and he then discarded one of the old habits which he had shared with the animals and began to prepare his food. I mean, I get what they're doing. It just seemed silly to do it that way. I don't know. So that I found kind of silly. But the main body of the work I thought was reasonably well done. I think, I mean, it doesn't go into depth in anything. Obviously, it's an overview of all of history. So it's just very, very surface. But if that's what you're looking for, I think most of it, a good portion of it's reasonably solid. But then it goes into the updated section. So anything from the last 100 years that has been more recently updated. And then it just gets really weird. Like, it's not laid out chronologically. Like, it is, but then they keep randomly jumping back and forth to different events in the timeline. Like, in one single chapter, it starts with the Clinton presidency, and then it goes to, like, the Earth Summit in the 70s, and then it talks about the emergence of AIDS in Africa in the 80s and 90s. It talks about the cloning of Dolly the sheep, and then it goes back in time again to our obsession with Prince Charles and Princess Diana, and then it's talking about personal computers. It just, like, randomly jumps around in these in the time, I don't know, it was just laid out really strangely and would just, mention this one thing and then go mention something else completely unrelated, it felt like. It made me laugh when it's talking about computers. Like it's putting all the technological, like lingo, I guess you would call it, in quotation marks, like it's would be words that were unfamiliar to us or that we don't use anymore. So the internet opened a world of informative websites to anyone sitting at a computer. Students begin to surf the net. This part was published in 2014. It's not like we don't use these words on a regular basis. I don't know. That was laughable to me. And then again, with the last 100 years update, the information seemed really imbalanced, meaning kind of big events got little or no mention, and then it would fixate on these smaller things. Like, it mentions World War II kind of in passing. It doesn't spend a lot of time on it, more in relation to the development of the United Nations. It talks a little bit about like communism and the Vietnam War, just a little bit. There's like no mention of the Berlin Wall. There's like 2 sentences on Watergate. But then it spends an entire chapter on Y2K, and then an entire chapter on the Bush versus Gore election and the hanging Chads, and then an entire chapter on 9/11. I don't know. It just got weird at the end, I thought, and it didn't seem to be laid out super well at the end. But anyway, so parts of it I thought were good, parts of it I thought were ridiculous, and overall it's just kind of meh. But I see why it won a Newbery. Like, I see the value in it for the time it was published, especially. Alright, enough about that. And then I finished The Happy Prince and Other Stories by Oscar Wilde. These are short stories, fairy tales, basically, by Oscar Wilde. Until a couple of years ago, I had never read Oscar Wilde, and then I read The Picture of Dorian Gray, which ended up being one of my favorite books that year. And this is the only other Oscar Wilde I have now read, and I loved this. I thought it was so good. Their fairy tales are a little unexpected. They get pretty dark, which fairy tales often do if you read the original ones, but just in ways I don't always expect. And they're just very readable, and I really, really enjoyed them. And we'll pick up more Oscar Wilde. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. So that's my blog for the week. Pretty exciting, huh? But yeah, so there's my most recent update of what's going on, and that's it. So thank you for watching.